More than just animals. Why do gorillas capture our imagination so strongly? Perhaps because they are mirrors, creatures that walk differently, eat differently, but feel so much like us. They inspire awe in films like King Kong, courage in documentaries, and joy in children's stories. Yet beyond their cultural roles, gorillas are guardians of Africa's rainforests, keystones in ecosystems that sustain countless species. To protect gorillas is to protect ourselves. Their forests provide clean air, regulate climate, and shelter biodiversity. Their survival depends on the choices we make in the coming decades. And perhaps, in watching a silverback cradle his infant, or listening to the laughter of playing juveniles, we are reminded of a deeper truth. These are not beasts of legend or shadows of the forest. They are kin, gentle giants, storytellers of evolution, and living proof of the fragile beauty of life on Earth. Gorillas, giants of the Green Kingdom. Far from bustling cities and human footprints, deep within the emerald labyrinths of Africa's tropical heart, lives an animal that is both strange and familiar. Their silhouettes move like shadows beneath towering trees, their deep eyes reflect a quiet intelligence, and their powerful hands pull at vines with ease. This is the world of the gorilla, the planet's largest primate, a living reminder of our own evolutionary story, and one of the most misunderstood animals in history. In a single day, the jungle sings with life. Choruses of hornbills, croaks of frogs, and the whisper of rain on broad leaves. Among these voices comes the deep, rumbling sound of a gorilla troop, communication, laughter, warning, and sometimes song. These apes are not the brutal savages early explorers once imagined, but peaceful, complex, social beings whose very existence enriches the forests they inhabit. A family divided by geography. Gorillas are not one species, but two great branches divided into four subspecies. Western gorilla, gorilla. O western lowland gorilla, the most widespread and numerous. O cross river gorilla, the rarest, with fewer than 300 individuals clinging to survival along the Nigeria-Cameroon border. Eastern gorilla, gorilla beringii. O eastern lowland gorilla, largest of all, dwelling in the forests of the Democratic Republic of Congo. O mountain gorilla, iconic, shaggy-furred apes living at high altitudes in Rwanda, Uganda, and Congo, numbering just under 1,100 today. Western gorillas generally sport lighter, shorter coats, sometimes with reddish crowns, while eastern gorillas grow thick, dark fur to survive mountain chills. Males, known as silverbacks once their backs turn gray at about 12 years of age, are living fortresses, towering over 5.5 feet, weighing 160 to 200 kilograms, and capable of bending saplings with ease. Yet behind that power lies gentleness. A silverback's role is not only to defend, but to guide, mediate, and keep the family together. Forest engineers and endless appetites. A single gorilla can eat over 30 kilograms, 66 pounds, of vegetation daily. Their diet varies with environment and season. Lowland gorillas trek long distances for fruit, figs, guava, bananas, and countless wild berries. Fruit can make up a quarter of their meals. Mountain gorillas, by contrast, live where fruit is scarce but leaves, stems, and shoots grow in abundance. They can feast without wandering far. Eastern lowland gorillas occasionally crunch on ants and termites, delicacies rich in protein. Remarkably, gorillas rarely drink water. The moisture within juicy stems and dew-covered leaves hydrates them, and some plants they eat are 50% water by weight. By breaking branches, dispersing seeds, and trampling paths, gorillas act as ecosystem engineers, shaping forests for countless other species. A day in the life. Life for a gorilla troop begins at dawn when the forest glows with mist. The silverback rises first, scanning for threats, before leading his group to feeding grounds. Throughout the day, they forage, rest, and groom one another. Grooming is more than hygiene. It's the glue of gorilla society, reducing stress and reinforcing trust. By dusk, each gorilla builds a nest of leaves and branches. Even infants learn nest building from their mothers, perfecting the craft as they age. Nests can span 1.5 meters across, sturdy enough to hold a 200-kilogram male. Unlike orangutans, gorillas mostly nest on the ground, though younger ones sometimes sleep in trees. Social life is structured but surprisingly peaceful. A troop usually has one silverback, several females, and their offspring. Some groups include younger males called blackbacks, who may challenge for leadership or leave to form their own troop. Conflicts are often theatrical rather than violent. Chest beating, hoots, vegetation throwing, and mock charges, rarely escalating to true combat. The mind of a gorilla. To watch a gorilla is to see thought in action. With brains weighing over 500 grams, gorillas are second only to chimpanzees and humans in intelligence among primates. They use at least 25 distinct vocalizations: grunts for reassurance, screams for alarm, contented rumbles when eating, and even laughter during play. In Congo's Nuabaile-Ndoki National Park, gorillas have been seen using sticks to measure river depth, stones to crack nuts, and twigs as scoops for food. Gorillas also display cultural differences. Some populations prefer certain plants or prepare food in unique ways, passing traditions across generations. Their emotional depth is undeniable. They mourn their dead, nurture their young with tenderness, and even show empathy toward humans. The world learned this most famously through Coco, a western lowland gorilla who learned over 1,000 signs of American Sign Language. Though controversial in interpretation, her story captured the world's imagination and showed that gorillas can communicate far more than once believed. Our long and complicated relationship. Humanity's first recorded encounter with gorillas dates back over 2,500 years, when Carthaginian explorer Hanno wrote of meeting hairy people along Africa's coast. Believing them to be savages, his men killed several and carried their skins home. Centuries later, explorers of the 16th and 17th centuries described forest giants called pongos, almost certainly gorillas. It wasn't until the mid-1800s that gorillas were scientifically described. Early naturalists brought skulls and specimens back to Europe, sparking both fascination and fear. Unfortunately, this led to gorillas being hunted and displayed in menageries, where poor conditions often caused them to die young. The tide began to shift in the 20th century, especially through the work of pioneers like Dian Fossey. Her years among Rwanda's mountain gorillas revealed their gentle nature and sparked global awareness. Her book Gorillas in the Mist remains one of the most powerful calls for wildlife conservation ever written. Though Fossey was tragically murdered in 1985, her legacy lives on in modern gorilla protection efforts. Threats in the modern world. Despite their strength, gorillas are among the most endangered creatures alive. Habitat loss, logging, farming, and mining are destroying the rainforests they depend on. Poaching. Gorillas are killed for bushmeat, trophies, or to capture infants for the illegal pet trade. Disease. Because their DNA is so close to ours, gorillas can catch human illnesses. Outbreaks of Ebola have wiped out thousands of gorillas in Central Africa. Conflict zones. Many gorilla habitats overlap with regions of human war, making protection even more difficult. All gorilla subspecies are classified as endangered or critically endangered by the IUCN. Mountain gorillas, once thought doomed, now number just over 1,000 thanks to intense conservation. One of the few great conservation success stories. Guardians of the future. Conservation today combines science, community, and tourism. In Rwanda and Uganda, carefully managed gorilla trekking allows visitors to see wild gorillas up close. The money funds local schools, healthcare, and park rangers, giving communities an incentive to protect gorillas rather than hunt them. International groups like the Great Apes Survival Partnership, GRASP, and the World Wildlife Fund, WWF, work with local governments to create protected areas, enforce anti-poaching laws, and provide alternative livelihoods to people living near gorilla habitats. Sanctuaries across Africa also rescue orphan gorillas, rehabilitating them when possible. Zoos, too, now play a role in ethical captive breeding programs, ensuring genetic diversity and acting as ambassadors for their wild cousins. Gorillas like Kiburi at London Zoo remind millions of visitors every year of what is at stake.